I had bought a Casio keyboard for a friend of mine for her birthday. I saw the Roland Kiola and I got inspired to make a wooden stand for the keyboard. These are the tools that I used to make this particular project. But I guess if you wanted to make it, replicate it, you could always use these tools. This project was made using one 2 by 10 around 30 inches long, four 2 by 2s around 30 inches long, and one 40 millimeter by 40 millimeter into 34 inches hardwood piece. Cut the 2 by 10 into a 30 inches long piece. Now cut the 2 by 2s into 30 inches long. Set your table saw blade at 45 degrees. Cover the edges of your 2 by 10 with a masking tape to prevent tear out. Now cut the 2 by 10 sides at 45 degrees. Look at that, it's so beautiful. I think southern yellow pine is one of the most beautiful woods in the world. Take your 2 by 2s, mark the center, and punch it. Now mark the length of your tenon. Remember, it has to go through the tabletop. In my case, it was 3.5 inches. That's what she said. Now get the tenon's thickness down to 35 millimeter. Now do a test fit using a scrap piece of wood and drilling a 35 millimeter hole in it. Remember, it has to go in easily and come out. That's what never mind. Now this next bit is a bit tricky. If you cut the 2 by 10 on both sides at 45 degrees, it should look like this from the bottom. Now I want you to draw a line diagonally end to end in this section. Draw another line so that it crosses right at the center, essentially making a cross at the bottom of the 2 by 10. Now take your Forstner bit and punch a hole as close to the edge as possible, but stay on the diagonal line that you just scribed. Measure the distance with a tri-square and match it on the other side. Do this on all four sides. Now using a 35 millimeter Forstner bit, drill through all four punches through and through. Now this is another tricky bit. Mount your leg with the tenon facing down to a piece of wood that's exactly 90 degrees. The objective here is to cut a spline in the tenon. Set the saw height at 3.5 inches. Now watch how I do it. This is the piece of hardwood that I'm going to use in the front and the sides as stiles or rails. The size is 40 millimeters by 40 millimeters and the length is 21.5 inches long. The next step is a little complicated, but I will try to explain as best as I can. The front rails have been placed 6 inches below the tabletop, and the side rails have been placed 4 inches above the ground, which means you have to drill the mortise 6 inches below the tabletop for the front rails and 4 inches above the ground for the side rails. This is a reference photo of the table upside down. Here I have circled the mortise and tenon, a total of 6 mortises and tenon. All the mortises and tenons for the side rails and the front rail are 25 millimeters in diameter. Here I'm turning the tenon 1 inch long and 25 millimeters in diameter. Here I'm drilling the hole for the mortise for the side rails, 25 millimeters in diameter. Now to make the wedge. A wedge is a tapered piece of wood used to jam the tenon inside the mortise, giving it essentially a wedged interference fit. Remember, the wedges have to be the width of the tenon. In our case, it's 35 millimeters. I made the wedges out of scrap pieces of wood, sanded them until they were tapered. Sanding everything is the best part of woodworking. No, it's not. Sand, 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 sand. Clean, clean, clean. Sand, 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 sand. God, look at that shit. Jesus. You put a lot of work in this. Now here comes the fire test. Fitting everything together. Apply some glue to the wedges before whacking them inside the tenon for jamming them up. After the whole thing is dried up, just flush cut the tenons that are protruding from the tabletop. Don't forget to sand the tabletop. Clean up all the dried up glue with a chisel. Chamfer all the edges with a block plane or sandpaper. Install some buffers underneath the feet to protect them from wear and tear. To finish the project, I applied 2 coats of automotive lacquer. And it's finished!